What's up, guys? Today I want to talk about the 5 ways you can figure out if your garage insurance needs a tune-up. Now, you'll forgive the terrible auto pun, but really what I'm trying to get at here is that most of us just kind of let things slide, just like you hate it when your customers just say, I don't know, I could probably put off that oil change a little bit longer, or no, the tread on my tires are fine. I mean, like, that's not bald. I mean, it's a little bare, but it's not bald. You hate hearing things like this. And so for an insurance agent, when we say, when's the last time you had a review, or when is the last time that someone looked at your policy, and you go, it's been several years, but I mean, Frank is fine. That drives us crazy. So let's get into exactly how you can know when you need someone to help you with your policy and what you can do about it. Okay, so I just kind of gave away the first one in the intro, but here's the deal. If it's been forever since you have had an annual review, if it isn't an annual review, if you are talking about 5 years or more since someone has looked at your garage insurance policy, then you desperately need to get someone to look at it. Things change, the nature of life has changed, and business is no different. So if you are in a position where you have not had a review in a few years, in 5 years, God forbid 10 years, I guarantee you your business has changed. You need someone to look at it. You probably have wildly different employee stuff going on. You've probably got new locations or location change. Something has happened that will materially affect the policy that you have, and you need someone new to look at it. So if it's been a long time, if you've got cobwebs in your engine, so to speak, you need a review now. Okay, the second thing is if you are an insurance tinkerer, you are a do-it-yourselfer, and let's be honest, if you are a mechanic and you're watching this right now, you obviously are a do-it-yourselfer. I mean, you would much rather fix it yourself, and you're probably like that with just about everything in your life. So insurance is no different. You think you can find a solution yourself and you really don't need to talk to an agent. In fact, if you've found someone who will sell you a garage insurance policy where you can pick and choose the coverages you want, you're probably super happy. But just like no one in the entire world wants John to fix his own car, and I promise you that, you don't want to be working on your policy the same way. If you've been picking and choosing your coverages, if you've been doing this stuff yourself, you should get a professional to look over it, just like I should get a professional to look at my car if something starts happening. You need a tune-up, you need a professional to look this stuff over, even and especially if you've been doing this stuff kind of on your own. All right, so this is similar but a little different to the one that I just talked about. So number 3 is if you have coverage with lots of different companies. Let me explain. So let's say you've got your garage keepers and your garage liability insurance with one company, but you've got your business auto for your work vehicles with someone else, and you actually have your general liability with your cousin who just got started in insurance, and your property, your buildings, well, that's actually the same guy that does your home and auto insurance for your personal stuff. You're covered, but you're covered all over the place with so many different people. And let me tell you guys, that is a recipe for disaster. If you have one thing that happens that affects your entire business, the next thing you know, you're calling all these different people, you're dealing with all these different adjusters, you have so many people who want to get into your business and start telling you what you need to do, and you're going to get paid different amounts for different things. Your coverages can be wildly different. You could have gaps in coverage that no one actually knows about because they only do that one thing. You see where I'm going with this. It's a nightmare. So if you have coverage that's just split up all over the place, you need a tune-up. You need to talk to someone who's a professional who can look this over with one eye from a 50,000-foot view and say, oh, actually, let's organize it like this. This is what I would recommend. Now you are covered completely top to bottom. Make sense? Okay, number 4 is probably the most common, but I've held it off till now, and it's probably the one that makes insurance agents cringe the most. And that's this. You know you're short on coverage. Now you know what I'm talking about. In fact, I bet there are some people watching this video that kind of went, yeah, you guys, you have just enough to cover yourself, but if anything real happens, you know you're in trouble. That is a red flag, and you need to speak with someone to get that tune-up right now. If you barely have enough coverage to cover one event, if you barely have enough coverage to cover half the cars on your lot, if you barely have enough coverage to cover a small fire but not the whole thing, I mean, I don't know how you got property coverage that only covers half of your building, but I mean, anything is possible. This is America. God bless us. So if you think that you only have barely enough coverage, get that tune-up ASAP and get everything set up correctly so that you can be covered no matter what happens. Okay, I have a confession to make. Number 5 is my favorite one. And this really shows you how at Alliance, we just tell it like it is. We do not hold any punches back. We just go in and just tell you the truth. So number 5 is this. If you don't like your garage insurance agent, get a tune-up from somebody else. This happens all the time. You may just not mesh with your agent. Sometimes people have different interests, they have different values. Sometimes you may just hate the sound of their voice. And you know what, guys? That's okay. Go ahead and get a tune-up, get a review with someone else. If you don't work with the agent that you have, you do not need to stay with them. In fact, it's probably a bad idea. Here's why. If something happens, let's say you have a claim, you may not want to really reveal everything to them. What if you have something change about your business and you hate speaking to your agent and you just forget to call them? You keep putting it off and putting it off and putting it off. Then someone comes in and steals a bunch of your property and you never actually added the new stuff to your property because, newsflash, you hate your agent. So if you don't like your agent, get a tune-up from someone else. Now, this is true in the car world all the time, right? If you don't want to buy a car from a dealer because you don't like them, you're gonna go somewhere else. And in fact, it's probably a better idea if you do. If you have a mechanic that you deal with on a regular basis, but that mechanic starts being a jerk, you're gonna go get your car fixed with someone else. So if you don't like your garage insurance agent, find someone else. Hands up if you know what I'm gonna say next. Yes, get a garage insurance expert at Alliance to look over your policy. If you have any of the things I just talked about, you need to get a review and you need to get one with someone who actually knows garage insurance inside and out. You need to speak with one of our 2 garage insurance experts. If you click on the link with this, you can set up a side, put it on their calendar directly from that site. Go ahead and do that now. That way you can actually have someone who you're gonna like and someone who's going to really know how to save your business time, how to save your business money, and how to get your business protected. So if something happens, you're covered 100% top to bottom. That's it from me, guys. Thanks so much, and we'll be talking soon.